quick look at the rule book this year shows that pages 19 and 21 have highlights, and that means goaltenders still can't be trusted. Kay, thus the evolution of form-fitting goaltending continues. How did we get to this point?
Well, 3 years ago at a general manager's meeting, we felt we've done a lot with the equipment when reducing the size post-work stoppage, but let's get the goaltenders in the size that's specific to their body size. Some were abusing it, so we did a lot of measuring, waist sizes, upper bodies, to try to tailor their upper body equipment and their pants to be proportional to them each individually, and that went smoothly. That was part one of our process. The second phase was to work on the leg pads.
Okay, so that's where we're at, and that's really what page 19 addresses, the change in the leg pads and how you've come up with a system, I guess, to measure each individual guy. So take us through it from the pad standpoint. I don't know if anybody's going to notice a change sitting watching a game at home, but as an ex-goaltender and a guy who deals with the current goaltenders, you can certainly explain the difference.
I think that's the key. A 38-inch pad has been our maximum for the last 5 years. I think if you're watching from home or even in a building, an inch difference or an inch and a half difference isn't going to be really noticeable to your eye, but when you're the goaltender and you're losing an inch and a half from one pad and an inch and a half from the other, that's 3 inches of coverage you're getting between your legs. So we found that 38-inch wasn't necessary for all the goaltenders. A 36 pad probably predominantly took care of everybody, and then the longer-legged guys would need an extension, but everyone kind of wore up to the 38, and it got a little bit of abuse with some new modern designs that were playing longer than 38 just by angles and such like that. We felt that by measuring each goaltender's lower legs, 2 measurements, one from the floor to the middle of the knee and then from the middle of the knee to the pelvis, and trying to find a pad that only came up to the mid-thigh, about 55% above your knee, was the best way to do it. And we used to use a cloth tape from the top to the bottom for 38, but we found it would be more appropriate to measure from the ice surface up the leg. So we came up with a formula that would give you a 4-inch allowance for your skate, then you'd obviously get from the floor to your knee, and then 55% of the way. So a 38-inch pad is what I would have been allowed prior to this season, and you can see it would ride up above my crotch and almost start going towards your belt buckle.
Right.
But if I take another pad, and this isn't going to be for everyone, but there's going to be guys that the pad will go considerably down the leg, and you can get a little bit of a difference where, you're probably not going to see it too much, but if you're a shooter and there's a couple inches, you know how hard these guys shoot nowadays, an inch here and an inch there, that's all it takes. But this wasn't about scoring goals. This was about finding a way to have a formula in place and a standard, so no matter who you are, how tall you are, how long your legs are, you're going to get what you deserve. And this isn't just taking away. Takeaways are a hard thing. There's going to be some of those, maybe 15% of those guys, but there's going to be some longer-legged guys. Take, for instance, a player like Pekka Rinne in Nashville, who's a long-legged guy. He would be allowed more than a 38-inch pad in the way we used to measure it if he chooses to. He may not choose to, but based on the length of his legs, we feel for him to be adequately protected, he could go up maybe to a 39 the old way, but we now measure from the ice surface up. We call that the limiting distance size, and we use a limiting distance gauge to do that. So a lot of new funky terms to measure how it's taken care of, but this still allows the companies to have all kinds of design ideas, but just don't go past a certain height and everyone's happy.
All right, anatomically proportional, gotta love that, and certainly new terminology, but ever-changing is the goaltending world, and you guys are keeping on top of it. Kay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.